also before we, because we do our topics and things of that nature, but we got to talk about Roe v. Wade almost,
Yeah.
being turned over. Well, they're thinking about overturning it. They're thinking about it. So there was a leak
Yeah.
that said that folks in power were actually thinking about overturning. So the Supreme Court is actually thinking about overturning Roe v. Wade. So T, what are some of your thoughts about that, brother?
Yeah, and we would be remiss not to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Like as black males, men might think that this might have nothing to do with them, but it's like, no, we're a community. Anything that
Right.
affects women affects us, like
Right.
because we are a family unit. But I think it's important just to acknowledge like that the court is literally attacking women's right to make decision over their own body. And Roe v. Wade has stood for 50 years, and we've seen how conservatives have attacked Roe v. Wade and chipped away at it, and now it's like a full frontal assault. So yeah, it's man, it's scary. I think more than anything because it to me, like we see how precedents, I think it's called stare decisis, like whatever the decision the courts made, it usually stands unless it's something extremely egregious. We saw that with like Dred Scott, right? They said that, black people would never be free, right? That had to be overturned by amendment. Or we saw what was the one with segregation, Plessy v. Ferguson, right? And that had to be overturned with Brown versus Board of Education. But those are very like clear examples of giving people rights that they should have always had. And it's like the court made a mistake. But on this end, it's like, no, they're rolling back rights. They're saying like, oh, y'all had these freedoms, you don't really deserve it. And it feels like it's putting other rights that we thought were guaranteed like on the chopping block. I know that they were talking about how gay marriage might be rolled back too, based on the logic of the draft that they were talking. And just like you said, it's a draft, so the language could change, but it seems as if Roe v. Wade will definitely fall. It's 5-4, and it seemed like it was a staunch 5-4. But the language is what matters. How they write the opinions and what they say, the logic of this decision is what really like makes the major impact. And right now it's looking like they're purely attacking it, and there's going to be a lot of things pulled back, and yeah, gay marriage, and I think contraception as well. So yeah, bro, I think it's scary because I know about 25 states have laws already lined up to like once Roe v. Wade falls. Like I know Texas has the 6-week thing right now, but they have a law in the book like if it falls, like no abortions are legal. And it's like, whoa, that's crazy. And I know about 25 states have some type of laws in place to peel back abortion the minute that falls.
Absolutely. And I saw something on Instagram today, and it said, you're not going to stop abortions. You're just going to stop safe abortions.
Yeah.
People are still going to go out there and get their abortions. Now they're going to get it
Absolutely.
from the back alley person who's actually not safe, who could actually end up harming them severely or killing them, right? And for, just as someone walking out in the world, as couples, and I guess I'm speaking through the heterosexual context, people have had pregnancy scares and stuff like that before. And like, there's so many different reasons why a woman might not want to bring a baby into this world. Right. And so for that option to be like even talked about or threatened is so crazy. And I started thinking about it from like a bigger picture last night. And I was thinking like, this actually goes into the hands of like so many other different entities in the U.S., right? Because a lot of folks who are not going to have, who are going to be struggling are folks who are impoverished, who might not be able to, find different, and some people are going to
go out of state.
Exactly. And then, if you sometimes you bring a baby into this world, you can't take care of this baby. You don't have the resources, which can create, circumstances for the child, which can put the child in a bad situation.
Put the family in a situation.
Come on.
Exacerbates poverty.
Yeah.
But just like you're saying, like there's millions of kids already in the foster care system.
Right.
And it's like, if we're pro-life, why are we not pro-education? Why are we not pro or anti-poverty, right? Why aren't we trying to pull people out of the situations? If we're so for bringing life into this, why can't we prioritize that life when it's alive and not just unborn?
And furthermore, it's like the healthcare system is already not that great. We don't have
we talked about this or 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, so our healthcare system already fucks over women when they have babies too. So it's like there's just so many little gaps in like the the logic here, and it's unfortunate. Plus, let's be honest, if we're actually going to put restrictions on people, we should be putting restrictions on men. Men are actually a lot more dangerous in terms of pregnancies and stuff like that. I could go out and impregnate 100 women in a month. You know what I'm saying? So like the idea that we're even restricting women's bodies in the first place at all shows how sexist the society is and how patriarchal this stuff is. And so it's really interesting because I didn't expect them to be this blatant with it. Like I felt like we were sort of past this, like the idea that this could be rolled back.
This like up front, like because it's been so like chipped away, right?
Exactly.
It's all so subtle, but now it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like right at you. It's like, no, this is what we doing. But I feel like we kind of saw this coming slowly but surely with like Texas's decision with Trump putting these 3 justices. He said, I remember during his political debate with Hillary, and they asked him like, would he be trying to like repeal Roe v. Wade? And he was like, in a lot of different ways. He's like, well, I plan on putting 3 justices in there, and I plan on having the majority, and whatever that majority decides, but I believe that majority would decide to give it to the states. So that's my answer.
Yeah. So just realize, y'all, this is a long game thing, right? So, and that's why we always talk about on the show how like we get so caught up in I'm not racist, I'm not sexist, I'm not heterosexist. It's not really about that. It's about a lifetime of like undoing that stuff in yourself and being able to recognize it in society, right? Like this has been a long game plan. I'll put the justices in now, even if I don't win. The justices are in there. Those are lifetime appointments, and slowly but surely, because like you said before, if you have like 25 states who are already like we've been waiting. Once we get our people in there, we just waiting. And giving it to the states means that, hey, we'll be able to do whatever we want to in our little area. So let's go ahead and put this stuff in place. And that's why when we talk about politics and who you vote for, it's so important. Because now the same person who is saying politics don't have nothing to do with me. Well, like if you get pregnant, you're someone in your family or your close friend gets pregnant.
You get somebody pregnant.
Exactly. And now you can't do anything. Okay, well now it's hitting your life, but it's a slow game. Pay attention, guys. Stay woke.
Ooh, okay. I'm so glad you said that, right? Because that's often people's like approach to politics, like, oh, it don't got nothing to do with me. But it don't got nothing to do with you until it got something to do with you.
And then it's too late almost.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what makes this podcast come full circle, because we've talked about these bills, right? We talked about Florida, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Texas, kind of what they've been up to, right? And it's like, some of this stuff has just been in their like state legislator, but it's like, that's why we have to pay attention, because they just waiting, bro. Just like you said, it's that long game. And that's what really kills us. And it's like, it also sucks because the states that are doing this have the highest infant mortality. So it's like, y'all want to have these kids, but y'all can't even take care of these kids.
Ooh.
Like, that's crazy. Like,
yikes.
we almost lost Serena in childbirth. So it's like, we can't take care of Serena, who has one of like the top bodies in the world, like who has trained her body to withstand like the craziest conditions.
Who has millions of dollars too to get the best health care too.
What?
Like,
what?
Hey,
we got black women dying in childbirth, and y'all trying to make people have kids, even when it comes down to incest and rape. Like, what?
I don't understand it, man. Can't make me understand it.
Yeah, bro. So, I mean, especially like as we're transitioning into our topic, because we're picking up on expectations, timelines, and ultimatums, I think it's important for us to really think about like the decision to have a child. Like, it's probably one of the most important decisions you can make in your life. And no one should have the power to make that decision for you. Not the United States, not your pastor, not your mama. Like,
you're getting deep.
It is fundamentally going to change your life, and it's going to change your expectations of your life and your timeline. So I definitely want to pick up from where we left off. Like last week, we talked about the ultimatums, the expectations, and the timelines, and how that affects us as people and us navigating our own lives. But I think we should think about like how it affects our relationships with our significant others, people we want to date, but also like our family and friends.